TimeRust.com proudly presents the Time Rust Brain Trust.
Hey everybody, and thank you for joining us on the Time Rust Brain Trust Award
Podcast.
Oh my gosh. One more, guys.
I'll do the sound.
Do the sound?
It's not the same. You took too long.
You had to be cued. That's not good.
Yeah, I know.
It's bad.
Because you were doing it like the whole time.
I didn't do it the
Marky.
last three.
Yeah, I know. You're lame. Anyways, introductions to my left is Eeyore. That's better. To his left is Steve.
What's up, guys?
To his left is Marcus.
One more. What it is? One more, baby.
Just hang in there.
Marcus is ready to fall asleep. All right, and
Spit your games at us.
what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the last little thingy. Now you're all thinking, what is he talking about? I'm just trying to stretch this out because Marquise really wants to take a nap.
Evil.
Dude
has spoken. Let the man read his games.
All right, Marquise, give me your nominees for Game of the Year.
All right. Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4 is probably probably one of the most fun experiences I've had playing a video game. It's playing the Saints it's being playing the leader of the Saints is crazy. Then you're the president, and then aliens take over, and then you blow up Earth, and then it's like, oh crap, now what?
And then you're in the Matrix.
And then you're in the Matrix basically, and it's like how the Saints interact with each other and have to deal with the fact that guess what, we have no planet now. We have this little city, in this little Matrix city, and that's all we have. Awesome. It was funny, just a little nod thing. The whole opening scene with the whole missile and I don't want to miss a thing sold me. I was just like, wow, that is pretty awesome. Injustice, Gods Among Us. Injustice was a sick fighting game. It was probably one of the most well-balanced fighting game I've played.
The fact that it had a good story makes it a unicorn it's the unicorn of fighting games, because you're like, wait a second, a story? Fighting games have stories?
Yeah.
No.
What is this?
Go play
Mortal Kombat.
Marvel could take a lesson from this game.
Not more. Capcom could take a lesson.
Yeah, well, Capcom can't tell a story for their life, but that's Capcom for you.
Capcom couldn't tell a story.
But yeah, I enjoyed especially playing characters like Deathstroke and Green Arrow and Aquaman, or some of my favorite characters to play as. And
Aquaman was actually really awesome.
He was. Sharks, dude. He fed you to a shark. That was awesome.
The part where he led all those giant monster crustaceans on land, he was like, you would give your crown? It's like, you're a king. Stop being such a douche or bag. He's like, man, what's wrong with you? He like slaps himself in the alternate reality. Let me show you how a king's supposed to be. So good.
Splinter Cell Blacklist was awesome.
Tack roll.
Tack roll. A lot of tack rolls. A lot of shooting light bulbs. Creating shadows. I did a lot of Batman stuff. I turned the connect functions on, so I would go here, and it would over here, and the guy would come over and then stealth kill. Very good story. I like the new guy who's playing Sam Fisher. It brings a new, fresh take to it. I can't wait to see more from that. Tomb Raider was surprisingly good. I'm busting through that right now. Surprisingly very good game. I like the fact it threw me through a loop. I thought I was going to finish. I thought when you first come across Matthias in the cave, I thought it was over. I'm like, oh, they're on a stripper for guns.
Let's go pull Metro.
You're gonna go and you're gonna get your arrow back and fight the final boss, and then you're gonna get off the island. No, guess what? You're not done yet. I'm like, oh, okay. I can dig that a little bit. And, that was a nice little twist. It's not Uncharted, by no means. Uncharted's, I think, a way better game.
But it's a good fresh new
it's
look.
A good
at
fresh
an
new
old,
look.
tired franchise.
Yes.
They put some polish on an old concept.
You can polish a turd.
Yeah, a turd that saved Square Enix.
Saved Square Enix, yeah.
Someone else had to make their games for them.
Yeah.
Boom!
They're like, we don't know what we're doing. Let's buy a company that can make good games, because we obviously can't.
But, yes, it's telling a
Which really hurts me, because I love Square.
It's telling a really good story. I'm really intrigued with the story going on with the sun god, or the sun goddess and stuff, and I'm looking forward to the next installment of the franchise, this newly revamped franchise. I haven't played this game, but I watching the game trailer and watching the cutscenes, and I watched all the cutscenes. The Last of Us. Holy smokes!
Man, that game is amazing.
Not even playing it is definitely up there for game of the year, because it was just. I watched it. I went on YouTube and I was like, all the cutscenes. Boom! I watched the entire.
Weren't you here when we played it?
I watched you play it, but I watched all the cutscenes.
It was. Man, I could talk about that game for days.
It was.
We don't have that time.
It was amazing, and it was well done. The story was well told. The graphics were amazing. The voice casting was perfect. I'm pretty sure this was going to win Game of the Year, hands down. I'm pretty sure, but oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. But
I hope so, because that's my pick.
Pokemon X.
Yep.
By the same token, why?
By the same token, why?
Mm-hmm. It breathed new life into an old franchise.
You gotta catch.
I'm gonna put down Pokemon /XY.
You gotta catch them all, man. That's
Easy knows what we're talking about,
dude. All I thought was I gotta be the very best. No one ever was, man.
That's right.
I gotta go through and catch all the Pokemons and be the best.
Pokemon
trainer.
Bank's coming out soon. I'm gonna bring up all my old stuff.
and I'm gonna look forward to getting a breviary.
I have all my cartridges. I
got like 30 of those.
I need one.
I got a Sequenza on my crystal, and I gotta get them off. So I mean,
I'm gonna give you a rufflet and make you raise him.
I'll just set it in the freaking, I'll be like, hey, have the daycare.
Daycare.
Gears of War Judgment was a pretty good game. It wasn't the best game in the franchise by no means, but I liked hearing a story about Baird and Cole. They kind of waited too long to give Baird and Cole their own story. They should have gave them maybe between 2 and 3, tell Baird and Cole's story, and then come out with 3, and that would have been a nice way to end it.
No, that series is nowhere close to being over. It makes so much money.
It kind of is though, because
Cliffy's done with it.
Yeah.
If Cliffy's done with it, it's not going to be the same.
You mean like how Bungie is done with Halo?
Not in the same way.
Not in the same way.
No, because the
big
Halo,
Epic will move forward from this.
the big Halo people stayed to make 343.
Yeah.
So
you can tell the difference between 3 and Judgment.
Judgment is made by People Can Fly.
Yeah,
right. It's a different company, though.
I'm just saying. Again, you can just tell the difference. I mean,
you can already tell.
You can already tell the difference.
But it's a different game, anyways. Keep going.
BioShock Infinite. If The Last of Us doesn't win Game of the Year, BioShock Infinite should definitely win. That game.
You and I know what we're thinking.
The new expansions for BioShock Infinite look really good, where it plays back to the original game.
I tell you,
I need to buy BioShock Infinite.
The new expansion goes to Rapture. I want to play that because it's pre-Rapture. It's Rapture before.
So far, I've heard that it's kind of disappointing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's sad to hear. But,
well, it's short. It's really, really short.
I hate short DLC.
It's a little pricey. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a little pricey for the length of it.
and
it's like $15.
Yeah,
I think it's like 10 or 15.
And it's only like, 2.5 hours long?
If that.
So it's like one of the old Mass Effect 2 DLCs.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
And
It's like,
then,
here's a dialogue tree for you to go through. Here is a new set of armor and weapons.
And here is a map that you shoot your way through.
Yep.
Yay!
Thank you.
and the final game on my list is Lego Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Lego Lord of the Rings.
Really?
That didn't come out this year.
Well, I played it this year. It didn't come out this year, but I played it this year.
See, now you gotta throw that off your
doesn't
list because
count.
I was penalized
What?
on my list
Sorry.
because of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't.
We tossed out games that don't
Yeah.
come out this year.
Well, then I replaced it
weren't
with Marvel
new
because I
this
did play
year,
Marvel.
excuse
I did get to play Marvel and Lego.
Okay, replace it with Marvel.
Um,
I'll allow it.
Thank you,
I am
gaming
editor
god,
of
Eli.
this.
I enjoyed it. It was huge open world experience. 100 soul post characters. It's a fun swinging through the city of Spider-Man, which is so much fun.
I can't wait to pick that game up for my Xbox One.
I want to pick it up
for
for the Game Boy because there's characters on the Game Boy that you don't get in the next gen consoles. I'm like, oh, that sounds awesome.
Like
They did a good job. Like the portable version of Lego City Undercover was really good, and it was a big open world. Like they did a really good job with that. So
I'm always curious why they didn't just call it the 3DS or the the 3DS, the Game Boy 3D. Anyways,
So those are my picks, man.
because the name Game Boy is old hat apparently.
Yeah.
it's still awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've still got my Game Boys. I've got the brick, the clear brick.
Game Boy SP is awesome. Okay, so I tell you what, we're gonna reverse it. So Steve, you're up.
I don't have.
Marquise is making the bed.
I don't have the 10 games because I haven't played a lot of games this year.
that's fine.
Are you gonna sit in the chair?
The one thing I'm going to go through is The Last of Us. Playing that game, and I played the crap out of the multiplayer, but the game had emotional depth that I have not felt for a while. I mean, Naughty Dog really nailed it. It is the best game that I've. It was a good way to end the major title time life of the PS3. I mean, I've always enjoyed the Uncharted series. It had good wit, it had good humor, it was great writing. It was the characters were good, and then they just knocked it out of the park. They turned it up to 11 with The Last of Us.
It really was a good send off as far as exclusive titles go.
I mean, you felt for the characters. You could feel the tenseness of the situation. I mean, you could approach it several different ways, where you're creeping around in the dark with the clickers. You know they're there. Sometimes you can't see them half the time, and the fact that if you don't do it right, they're a one-shot kill, which really it aided to frustration, but it really aided to the
Urgency.
and the danger of the world. You know, because like in Resident Evil, you get bit by a zombie, you're like, "Ow, that hurt," and you just blow it to bits with a shotgun. But the fact that ammo was so scarce and the world was so dangerous, you know, The Last of Us became in my mind, it is the best example, the best recent example of survival horror in the genre, because you had to survive. You were fighting tooth and nail, especially when you were fighting other people, because the AI was very smart. And it was very well done. And you're fighting guys, and like you go for a stealth kill chokehold. If someone sees you do it, their partner's gonna come and knock you in the back with their gun or shoot you. I mean, it's just in the part where you're just playing as Ellie and you're stealth killing people in the blizzard. You're just, oh my God, so good. The creative design, good take on a zombie apocalypse type deal. And the fact that it starts it out with such a dark and emotional moment, you know, I didn't expect that. I
didn't either.
I didn't expect the game to start that way. I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's him and his kid, and you're like,
I couldn't believe what they did right off the bat.
yeah, but that really set the tone for the character, for Joel as a character, where you're like, oh, this is why he's a complete jerk, because he doesn't want to form emotional attachments, because
Everybody dies.
everybody that he cares about dies.
Everybody in the club getting dead.
Yeah, so The Last of Us is up there. I'm going to throw another pick to Injustice: Gods Among Us. I don't have any of the DLC characters, but I love playing that game also with its companion on my Droid mobile phone, which was a very well done handheld adaptation.
super fun.
I was very pleased. The fact that you can unlock... I unlocked my new 52 Green Lantern skin, which is super cool looking. I mean, the way that they drew the art for the characters and their different types of costumes, like right off the bat, Green Lantern was great. The fact that they had some good voice acting was super good, and it was just a good story.
Best fighter in a while, actually.
Yeah, I can say
Wow.
the only fighter that I would put up there, it's the best 3D fighter in a while, because Persona 4 Arena, which came out last year, was a great fighting game. But it was 2D, and it was by the Blaze Blue team, and which also did Guilty Gear. But anyway, I also have Pokemon X on my list, because it breathed a lot of life into the Pokemon world, where it was stagnant, and it was go here, do this, but you had, instead of just you on your journey with your rival that showed up in these ridiculous, inopportune times, you had a group of friends that your character grew up with in this town, the starting town, and they would call you, and you'd go do, and they would help. It helped guide you around the map and tell you what you were supposed to be doing. Or, I mean, I've done, like, a friend of mine that played it, he didn't really do a lot of that stuff, so he had a completely different playing experience than I did, because he kind of just ignored those people. And I was like, well, if you go here and do this, you can get this and this. And he was like, wow. So, he ended up backtracking, going to, like, the Haunted Mansion, where you get the Ganger Knight outside. Mm-hmm. The Mega Evolution was a nice touch. The fact that certain Mega Stones show up in certain versions of the game, and, like, the other one where I really want
to trade back and
I
forth.
want my Agronite, and it's only in Pokemon Y, that kind of stuff.
That's why you gotta buy both of them and trade with yourself.
Yeah, no, some of us don't have that much disposable income. After that, I've got Heart of the Swarm, the second installment of StarCraft 2. That was an
Phenomenal
amazing expansion. It like, Wings of Liberty was awesome. Wings of Liberty was
And this one was somehow way better.
Wings of Liberty was profound. The story was good. It was well paced, but, like, I mean, there was a few things I found wrong with the story in Heart of the Swarm, like when she goes to bust him out of that thing, that prison ship. Why does he still have a gun and he's in prison? I didn't understand that. I mean, certain things where I liked Kerrigan way better as a ghost, like after she'd been turned into a human and slightly humanized, but I understand why they did it, because she's so iconic as the Queen of Blades. The CG was, as usual, Blizzard's CG was phenomenal. The storyline was great. The missions were fresh and awesome. And the way the tech trees evolved was really fun. The only thing
Abathur was amazing. What a great character.
I could agree.
What a great character.
Because they went back and they're like, oh, this is where they're like, oh, so how does the swarm get its new units? Oh,
Yeah.
This guy, he's a genetic.
He eats like DNA and
he
weaves it
weaves
together
it-
with inside himself.
And he
Then bleh.
and puts it into the spawning pools, which makes new Xerg. He even talks about how he made Kerrigan stronger.
Yeah.
And it was great character. And the
Really
Primal
cool.
Zerg was a good touch.
Yeah, I liked him too.
Yeah. Well, the whole Primal Zerg as a whole was a good
Yeah.
idea. Was a good idea, because you never really knew what the Zerg were like before the Zelnaga got a hold of them.
Yeah.
Which
It
was
was
cool.
really good.
And
It was a good middle chapter.
yeah, the new units were good.
It makes me super excited for the
The
Protoss
dynamics were
campaign.
good. The only thing I hated was the multiplayer. Like I'm good. I'm not very good at multiplayer. I don't focus on the multiplayer. Like, I know some people that haven't even played the single player game. I'm not competitive on multiplayer. I didn't like how they restrict your unit selection, or dumb down and altered certain units. I want to play it like StarCraft 1, where you had full selection of your units as you do throughout all the games. And I just don't like how certain units don't match up. Like, you get a Colossus, and a Colossus is a giant battle walker with lasers that rakes across the battlefield. But for some reason, the Protoss, a super advanced mega species, decided it doesn't need air defense. It's a giant battle walker. Dumbest thing ever. I mean, the way they balance the issues makes me so hateful. But
It's rock paper scissors.
Yeah,
Their
essentially.
multiplayer is giant rock paper scissors.
yeah. Aside from Heart of the Swarm, I've got Shelter, which was an indie game where you basically play a mother badger guiding your 5 babies around through the treacherous wilderness. It was a heartfelt game. It was another game where they didn't talk at all because they're animals, but you cared, and it was just well done. It was beautiful, and the gameplay was good. I'm on my 3rd playthrough, I think, and
I'm glad that you put that on there, because I was hoping somebody would mention it.
Yeah,
'Cause it is,
Shelter
it
was
is so cool.
so good. I mean, it's a good concept. They used music and lighting to define the world, and it's really good. The last game I have that rounds out my title is Mech Warrior Online's official release. because I'm an old Mech Warrior fan. I love it. The timeline is set. The clans are going to invade soon. But I love getting online with all my friends and piloting my Centurion out or my my Cataphract and just it's an online game that it's not really an MMO because there's no missions or quests. You just go out as a team of 5 to 10 and you just blow the other team to bits. That's your objective. You're walking through the landscape and there's LRMs streaking up into the sky coming down on you, and you're like, oh crap, because you can feel it in the impact of your cockpit. You can customize how your cockpit looks, so you got to move out of the way. You got to balance moving your torso and moving your feet. Your weapon groups, you're blowing arms off people. It gets really hectic because you see an Atlas and everyone's like, oh my god, it's an Atlas. It's the big assault mech with the skull for a face, and then you just see a group of light mechs fall down on it like a pack of like vultures, and they just blow it to bits because it can't turn. There's my friend is in a clan that the leader of their battle group is he's in the army and he's a tank. He works in a tank battalion.
That's awesome.
And he uses the same terminology, and they work like a team in that regard. And he just like he talks and names stuff out, and like. It's great. Like you can have crushing defeats and you can have amazing victories. And that game, you can pay to get the stuff you need to go faster, but at the same time you can get paint jobs, you can get weapons, and you can really customize your own mech.
I downloaded that thing and it's been sitting on my computer waiting for me to play it.
I give it a shot just the same way as I say get PlanetSide 2.
Yeah.
PlanetSide 2 was
I played
really
PlanetSide 2 for a little bit and it's not for me.
It's basically
I got in there.
It's a different take on Battlefield.
Yeah, like I don't like the maps in PlanetSide 2 were too big for me. Like I don't like being in this open place where all I want to do is just run around and explore. And there were people yelling orders at me, and I'm just like, I don't know what any of that means. I'm just trying to start playing new. And,
yeah, that's the only downfall of that game.
And I was just like, okay, it looks like some people are fighting over here, and then I would just run over and die.
Yeah,
and,
but the good thing about playing when you play Mech Warrior, like the map gives you quadrants, and you're like, it breaks it up into a grid, and you walk out, you're like, okay, you designate team like targets. You get people, and I built a Centurion. I built a Cataphract. They brought the Spider out. They brought the Highlander. The Jaeger. The Jaeger is a great mech. And I just walk out with my heavy, medium cannons going. You've got Nova Strikes flying across, lasers across the map. It gets really hectic, and it's a lot of fun. So, if you haven't played it and it's sitting on your desktop, I say give it at least a shot.
Yeah, I need to.
Pick up the yoke and start fighting the bad guys again.
Yep. I need to get into that one a little bit and mess around.
If you ever crank it up, because you can get it through Steam, I'll definitely hop on and go blow up some dudes with you, because that game is really fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And that's my recommendation.
I don't know why you have 15 since you can only have one actually win.
Because he's played a lot of good games.
Because these all need talked about.
But you we're gonna have personal lists later.
I know, but they all need mentioned on here. They're worth mentioning. Some of them have already been talked about, and I don't have to go into detail.
All right.
BioShock Infinite. Fabulous game. I really liked it. Liked the story. I liked the story. I liked the new powers that you had. I liked the weaponry. I liked navigating on the skyhooks. Great game. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Never heard of it.
It hasn't been talked about on here yet, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail.
I haven't played it, but that game is on my list.
This, for me, is my game of the year.
Never heard of it.
Because it is a love note to the previous generation. It is Rockstar saying, we have mastered everything that you can do on this generation. Let us show you. And they do. It is more polished and more realized than any other game that I've ever played. On any generation. This is literally the most polished game that I've played. The tiny details, people walking around in the city, traffic, like even just traffic feels like actual real traffic in this one. The conversations that you'll walk into people having on the street, the way the environment itself looks, the lighting of the environment, the way that it'll rain in the game and puddles will form dynamically. Like, you don't just have preset puddle textures happening on the ground. They will form dynamically in different spots. You can stand there and watch it rain, and you'll see a puddle form in a place that it's never been before.
I've been wanting to borrow that game off someone so I can finish it.
Really, really insane. The dialogue, the characters, the voice acting, the story itself, phenomenal. The multiplayer, a whole nother ballgame. That could be game of the year on itself. Like, you could have the multiplayer sold for $30-$40 by itself and be game of the year. Just incredible the way, like, I know it had its problems at launch, whatever. It's a huge multiplayer online game where millions of people were trying to play it at the same time.
Yeah,
it's going to have problems.
It's just exactly like the launch of WoW, where they had no idea.
I don't get upset when things launch and have problems. Like, yeah, I'm mad because I want to play, but at the same time, I understand it.
It worked out.
SimCity.
Yeah, SimCity.
Yeah, you were hateful with that game.
But that was ridiculous because that's a single player game.
Yeah, that's a single player game. Should not have online. Like
it shouldn't have it. Like the online
is
stuff.
That nominated for game of the year?
No, I didn't even put it on here. It's not even on the list.
Just because.
It's not even on the list. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto Online, absolutely fabulous. My phone already turned off. Let me put it back on here. The Last of Us. Steve already spoke at great length about it. I thought it was phenomenal. I love the story. It doesn't beat out Grand Theft Auto 5 for me just because of the level of polish and insanity that was Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's a good game, but it's
Last
not
of
that
Us
good.
is amazing, and it was my favorite game of the year until I played Grand Theft Auto 5. Pokemon X and Y. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so obviously those are on here for the reasons that Steve has already stated. Wonderful 101.
That game is so good.
I just got a Wii U 2 weeks ago. I've played the Wonderful 101 a little bit. Fantastic game. Like, just so colorful and creative and
As
different.
a Beautiful Joe fan, that game is heavily.
Oh my
on
gosh,
my list.
it is so ridiculous. Saints Row 4, crazy insanity, open world action, superpowers, flying across the map. A lot of fun. I have not yet finished the game, so I'm gonna put a caveat on that. But I have played the majority. I'm probably like 80% through, and that game is a lot of fun. Sadly, Grand Theft Auto came out the week after that and was way better.
Well, it's
Which is
catering
fine.
to two
They're
different
different
Because
games.
it's two different games.
Yeah.
They are two completely
Way
different games.
At first, they were similar, but now they've gone way.
Well, I think what it was is the people that make Saints Row realized that they
They
were
fully
like,
embraced it.
instead of trying to compete with
Let's do our own thing and be insane.
and make it amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Skylanders Swap Force. I put this on here because it exceeded my expectations for what this game would be. I love Skylanders. I did not like Giants as much as Spyro's Adventure, but Swap Force, it feels new and fresh. Your character can jump, so there's newer platforming elements that the game hadn't really had before. The graphics look fantastic on next-gen systems, and the new swap mechanics are very cool. You get these challenge areas where you can compete with a certain type of swap character that may have the ability to climb or the ability to fly, and they're just like little deviations for you to earn extra unlockables and stuff like that, and then you can go back and replay those areas. But the level design and everything seems much better in this one, the storyline and everything, and once again the voice acting is pretty good for what type of game it is. Forza 5. Phenomenal racing game. Absolutely phenomenal. I really like the presentation in this one, where like whatever car you've got, you're just hanging out in a garage, and if you want to walk up and check out that car, you can go right into Auto Vista mode. Like, you don't have to load that up separately. Like, you can just, there's your car, walk right up to it, have people tell you about that car, look at the specs of that car, open all the doors, climb into the passenger seat and sit down. Like, open up the trunk, check that out. Like, look at the engine nice and close. Like, it's just a really good game for people that love cars. I love cars. I love Forza. I love racing. The tracks, amazingly detailed. The people in the crowd, they're two-dimensional cutouts. But, I mean,
hate that.
you got to make a sacrifice somewhere, and when you're flying by them at 150, 200 miles an hour, they look fantastic.
Exactly.
Dead Rising 3, I put that on here simply because it is wacky fun. I do not think it is Game of the Year by any means.
But it's good.
But it is fun to play.
And that's, if you think about it, that's actually the premise of video games.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Yeah. Knack. Fantastic platformer game. Fantastic action platformer. Interesting mechanics where you can grow in size dynamically depending on how many relics you've picked up in a certain area. So you can be 3 stories tall, you can be 1.5 feet tall, depending on how many hits you've taken. Just a really, really good showcase for what the PS4 can be capable of in terms of physics. If you're going to throw that one in the trash, I want that.
Okay.
But the characters in that game were good. The voice acting was pretty good. A lot of people hated on the storyline of it because they thought it was way too dumbed down. I thought it was fun. It did in real time what games last gen were still doing in cutscenes. So I thought that was noteworthy, and I had a lot of fun playing through that game.
Pioneering has never been an easy thing.
Yeah. Luigi's Mansion is the year of Luigi, so Luigi's Mansion. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a great lighthearted portable game, and it was a lot of fun. Project Cross Zone. It is ridiculous and silly, but that is kind of fun once in a while, and it plays well portable. Animal Crossing New Leaf. Absolutely phenomenal portable game. A lot of fun, and there's a lot of cool things that you can do, like by playing in your friends' towns and going back and forth.
When he's done, I forgot one, and I'll have to talk about it in just a second.
You fool.
You don't.
Fire Emblem Awakening.
That's what it was. Oh man,
I knew that's what it was.
Oh, that game was good.
Yeah.
I'm on my 3rd playthrough.
Fire Emblem Awakening.
I'll put a +1 for you.
Thank you.
That game is
as a strategy RPG.
As a strategy RPG, absolutely fantastic.
As an RPG, period.
The story is great.
Is great.
The characters are great.
the
graphics are great.
Jinx, you owe me no coach!
Oh, so good! I love that game.
The music. Oh wow, yeah.
Even the cutscenes, like the
yeah, very nice. The animated cutscenes, the 3D CG, yeah,
it was
super good.
All cel shaded and beautiful, and oh man.
Heart of the Swarm, once again, fantastic for the same reasons that Steve mentioned. Injustice: Gods Among Us, incredible storyline,
great
engaging fighting game. The combos are super easy to pull off for the most part.
And it's graphically, visually appealing.
They had amazing DLC characters, just solid choices all around. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is Batman Arkham Origins.
Yes.
Not having Rocksteady make this game, it definitely, in the combat department, it feels way different, but it's also a little bit more challenging, so that's good. The storyline, having it be Batman before when he first started out, and doesn't know any of the villains, that's amazing. He meets the Joker for the first time in this game.
It's always a good concept. And
it's so crazy.
The voice actor that did the Joker was the same guy that did Joel.
Troy Baker.
Yeah, Troy Baker did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played Origins yet, but I watched it on the YouTubes, some of the videos.
Troy Baker does an amazing
everyone was
job
like,
as
Troy
Joker.
Baker's just so good as the Joker. And I went back and I was like, he sounds like...
He sounds like Mark Hamill.
Sounds like a young Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I'm in love with this game.
Yeah. So basically, we have a new version of Mark Hamill for the foreseeable future for
So
the Joker,
good.
Which is fine because
amazing.
Mark Hamill's I'm done.
Mark Hamill's Joker was the best Joker ever.
Of course, Mark Hamill might be making new Star Trek or Star Wars. Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah.
New Star Wars,
he's going to be busy. So
those are the games that I liked this year.
Did you forget anything?
Like what? I probably did.
Shut up. Not just kidding. Because you named 15 games.
Yeah.
That's why.
16.
I don't know. I lost count. The first 12. I'm just typing stuff.
But I did enjoy those games a lot. Each of those games made my year.
You put...
What
about Metal Gear?
Revengeance.
Oh, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Yeah, that's worth mentioning because that was a lot of fun. By no means game of the year, but it doesn't even make my top 10. But it was an amazing and fun game.
I can agree with that. I didn't play it, but it looked fun. And if a game is good and you view it, I mean, if you view the amount of time that you played it, like
It's a 6-hour game. 8 hour.
About 8 hours probably to play through.
there are games, not just
But
RPGs.
I probably spent about 20, 25
that I've
with it.
put. I've got several playthroughs logged in on certain games.
Yeah.
Like I've got like 8 Skyrim characters. I'm on my 4th or 5th playthrough. Persona 4 or 3. I mean, like hundreds of hours put in these games. And
Anything that I can put at least 20 hours in.
I've used a worthy purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mass Effect.
Mass Effect 3. I've got easy 250, 300 hours in that.
Yeah,
game.
Mass Effect 2, I put over 100 hours in because I played it twice. And
I'm on my 5th playthrough of that game, but I put in so many hours in the multiplayer. It's the best horde mode ever.
I don't have Saints Row 4, and each Saints Row game, I've put probably about 50 hours into each game.
Yeah,
just because I enjoy playing it.
It just makes it worth it.
All right, and my selections, because I didn't play as many games, but I played a few, but you're a game editor, so.
I have to play them.
You have to play them.
Oh, no, you have to play sweet games.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, darn! What the worst job ever!
I'm going to go through the list, because there's just so freaking many. Based on, recommendations, my recommendations are going to be, based on Time Rust Tuesday, interactions.
Yeah, I mean, I limited my recommendations to things I've actually played, or else I'd have more.
Well, I mean, like, if I'm either sitting right beside him as he plays.
Yeah, I can agree.
It's not hearsay, is what I'm getting at.
It's like you went on the interwebs and internet.
Yeah.
You're like, I heard this game was great. I'm going to put it on my list.
List it!
Saints Row 4, amazing. Injustice, Gods Among Us, also really good. I am not very...
It could have been a
Down on
third person like platformer action God of War type game, and
Easy.
the storyline was still good enough to make it work.
Splinter Cell
It would have
Blacklist.
been a sweet idea anyway.
I actually really like Splinter Cell Blacklist. The graphics weren't amazing. I don't, the high-res pack download thing was kind of annoying, and there's a lot of tearing, but it was still fun.
A lot of janky pixel edges.
Tomb Raider, I think is great. It's a great reboot. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I like Nathan Drake more than Lara Croft, but I will give
It's
it
a
a
good
nod to the fact
substitute.
that it's a good game.
It's like it's super cheap, and if you need a filler, it's not bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Especially since I picked it up for like $10.
I got every Tomb Raider game
Yeah,
for
like-
$13
on Steam.
Every single Tomb Raider game.
All the bad
so-
ones too.
Yeah.
Those original ones are
Yeah.
better than this new one.
No.
On your face.
No, I don't.
I don't know. There's dinosaurs in the first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's dinosaurs.
That pushes that one over the top for me.
It's the best
Yeah.
one. The first one's the
No.
best one.
I got so many hours off the
First
swan diving Lara Croft to her death that I got hours of entertainment on that.
Yeah. The first one's the best one. The first one's the best one.
Okay,
All right, we gotta quit nerfing it. We're nerfing it. We're nerfing it. All right, sorry.
what are you?
Anyways.
Are you on Blizzard staff now or something?
Yes. Anyways. No, I
Somebody's got
haven't
to take up after Ghostcrawler. He left. Sad.
It makes me sad. He was actually.
I gave
He
The
was just
Last
the
of
messenger.
Us a nod. I'm not into it as much as you guys, but I respect the game itself because it does so much right. Flat out, I can't knock it.
Yeah.
It's not
Nolan
my
North actually played a character in there that I didn't know it was Nolan North.
exactly his
I was like, wait a second, because I saw the credits. I was like, that was Nolan North.
the
Yeah.
voice
It's
acting,
impossible.
the
He always sounds like
cinemas,
himself.
the gameplay, the ideas, everything on it is good. Gears of War Judgment, I gave a nod to that because it's not a bad game. BioShock Infinite is an excellent game also. Didn't get, StarCraft or touch it at all. Grand Theft Auto 5 is an outstanding game. That game fixed everything I hated about 4. And it took it to that next level of gameplay that I really wanted 4 to be at. That
Didn't.
4 was just so disappointing to me. I thought the story... I know a lot of people argue like, oh no, you need to play it more. But I got bored.
Well,
I really do need to play that one more because the story is super good.
I got bored with it though. I'm
Yeah.
like,
See,
I'm
there's
bored.
that slow part in like certain parts of the film,
Yeah.
the game, but Nico Bellic as a character is actually kind of interesting, but there are certain parts where I just didn't like where you're like, well, now I gotta build a relationship with this person so I can get this sweet ability from that nurse. Where you call her on your phone, you're like, oh, baby, I'm hurt pretty bad. And she's like, oh, you just do this, and your health goes back up. You're like, yes.
I know that.
Like, I'm getting chased by the cops. Let me make a call to City Hall and get that fixed for you. You're like, boom.
I know that's really cool and everything.
Or
but
Brucey.
I don't know.
Enough said, Brucey.
It doesn't. Yeah, I liked Grand Theft Auto 5. Going into, let's see, some of the other choices. Dead Rising 3. I love it. I know you're not really too enthused about it.
It's fun.
It's super fun for me. The game flows really well. It's an amazing third-person action game for me. Yes, there's a ton of zombies, but the new combo weapons just destroy them as you get stronger.
The other day, when I said I want to spend the whole day playing Dead Rising 3,
yeah,
I went home and I played Skylander Swap Force instead because that sounded way better to me.
That's your fault, though, because you didn't go home.
You're like, I view this game as better.
Yeah, and you didn't give it a chance, and that's your loss.
I did give it a chance. I gave it so many chances, and I'm still playing it, and I'm still having fun with it.
Right, but you're not going into it the way
you
do other games.
But I'm not going gangbuster with like I do with other games. Like,
right, I don't know why.
It's just kind of a back burner thing.
I don't know why, because this game has...
I can't quite put my finger on it either.
Yeah.
The only thing I keep coming back to
all
is the
the
fact that
other
there's
stuff.
too many zombies.
Describe to me one
and
of
they
the
made the game too easy. Like, you have 1 billion hours to do whatever you want. Like, none of the stuff is, like, stressful.
You think that, but really there's a ton of stuff to do. You need to level up. You need to get to level 50. You need to get... Here's the thing, you're not trying to level up hard enough. You think
that's never something I've never heard before. You're like, you're not power leveling. You're not grinding hard enough.
Yeah, because you need to get all that
harkens
PT.
back to the days of the JRPGs.
You need to get in there and kill all of the zombies.
But do I? Because everything has been super easy so far.
Okay, but you're going to find later that you don't have all the abilities you need, and that you should be level 50, and you should be unlocking all those awesome perks. You should have all the magazines as an ability. You should have indestructible vehicles as an ability. And what else? You keep continuing to gain experience after 50 so that you can get more of the little, little units. You don't actually gain up levels, but you continue to gain little, whatever they call them.
Ability points.
Yeah, ability points. So you should be going out there and rescuing every single person that you can.
Yeah.
And you're building up your army. All right? So then you get that APC.
See,
you go out there.
I don't like having anybody with me.
And that's another problem. When you have those people with you, they're mowing down everyone for you.
I don't need them to. I am amazing. I just kill everything.
You don't have to, fine. But...
I hate having NPCs tag along.
When I don't like having
NPCs
tag along during boss fights, I like having them tag along during the mid-missions, though. All the other missions, when it's just, I'm fighting gangs, I'm fighting zombies, they're so helpful. Because then I'm getting all kinds of experience points. And
for free.
Yeah.
And you don't get experience for stuff they kill.
I'm not getting experience for stuff they kill. Guess what, though? I'm accomplishing things. And you only get, 2 prestige points for killing a zombie. Even when you're using, an awesome weapon, you're not getting a ton unless you're comboing the crap out of them. And if you're comboing a crap out of them, they're over there taking damage, and you're just running away anyways. So I'm hitting up a bunch of zombies over here. You've left them over there. Doesn't matter. They're just basically covering your back. That's awesome. So when your thing breaks and the zombies are starting to swarm, you're fine. Because they're covering your back, they're coming to you, and you don't run out of ammo. Although, douchebag move, once that happens and you run out of ammo, you think, well, maybe I'll grab one of their guns. No, you don't grab one of their guns. You act like a man and you start punching zombies, or you grab something else. If you're in someone else's game and you start grabbing survivor weapons so you can use them, you're a douchebag. Because some guy did that. He grabbed all my survivor weapons for himself.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, so then my survivors start dying
right.
because that person was such a terrible game player.
That's right.
No, that's terrible.
No, it's awesome.
No,
it's kind of like
That's
in Dark Souls where you invade someone else's realm to get your body back, and you
Yeah.
murder them, and they lose like all their stuff.
Yeah, that's terrible.
No,
the
I hated that mechanic because
It's the best.
except for because there was that one boss fight that you actually had to pass that boss fight part of the game. You had to invade someone else's realm and become the yellow-headed, towel-headed monk guy. It was awful, but
So crazy.
yeah, that's one of the things that made me hate that
What are
game.
you talking to past what boss? No, there's no.
It put you in the seat of a boss, and you had to. There was a part of a game I couldn't get through because you had to go into someone's realm, and it made you their boss. Like the boss that was the monk with the yellow tornado on his head was always another player.
No.
Okay.
Anyways,
so Dead Rising 3 is super fun. There is so much that they pay tribute to, like the Dead Rising series in it. I don't want to ruin it for you because it's amazing. But anyways, I really enjoy it.
I like that they had a funeral for Otis. I thought that was cool. That's like one of the first missions. Like, you bust in and there's a funeral for Otis, and you're like, oh, Otis died. That sucks.
There's so much.
And then you pick up his painting and you smash it on a zombie.
wow.
And well, there's a I mentioned this before. There's a museum, and in the museum there's like a statue with what's his face? Frank West, and there's a statue with Chuck Green.
Nice.
And it has like pictures all around it explaining like the outbreak and everything because
How amazing they are.
people actually have an understanding of what happened.
Yeah.
Now. So they don't
That's
really
awesome.
They don't blame Chuck Green for the events in 2.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That's actually nice.
Yeah. Did you?
I haven't got there yet.
Okay. Did you get to the Resistance yet? The unchipped people.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, the Resistance, whatever. Anyways, all right. So, other than that, really game wise, like I played Rise, but I can't really add that in here because it's not that. It's an okay game.
It's one of the first games of the next generation. And
It's really pretty.
It's pretty, but it doesn't look to me like a game of the year.
Also, I wouldn't put Knack in here as game of the year, so I'm going to put Rise as just it's a game that I played that I enjoyed. I would honestly put Charlie Murder in here because that game is super fun.
That game is super
I'm going
fun.
to give it a +1 because Eli actually really liked it too.
Mm-hmm.
Marquise didn't like it, but Lisa actually liked it a lot.
Charlie Murder was good.
Actually, BioShock Infinite's one of those games that got her to want to play it so much that I bought her a T-shirt for Charlie
I actually
Murder.
wish
and
they would
BioShock
port
Infinite.
Charlie Murder up to the Xbox One.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it not being on it, just because I'll go back and play it. Oh, and the other one was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, because that game is just nuts.
That's an add-on.
No, it's not. It's a standalone game.
It's a standalone game.
Standalone
so
game.
it's like the zombie game for Red Dead.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's a standalone game.
Yeah, you buy it as a standalone game. Undead Nightmare is a standalone game.
Yeah, but it's kind of different though.
It's
Blood Dragon is super 80s, but it's
all right. Blood Dragon is a separate story that just so happens to use a lot of resources
I
to
know,
take place
but
on the island.
It looked so ridiculous.
It is. It is.
It's not good.
No, it's a silly game. You're maxed out. You're super powerful.
It's
It's
a game
6 hours long. I paid like $10 for
It's
it.
one of those games that you're just like, they're not really trying to take themselves seriously. They're just making something that's fun.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so game of the year is.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
I have to agree. Steve, you're gonna say Last of Us.
Well, I'm going to say The Last of Us because I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 5 yet.
Eli.
See, I really feel that if you play Grand Theft Auto 5, you will see what I'm talking about.
Well, I probably will, but I can't put judgment on
I
Game
know.
of the Year on a game that I've never played.
I know.
I know it's a good game. I've heard a lot of really good about it, and from what I've played with Grand Theft Auto GTA 4, I mean, the difference between GTA 3 and GTA 4 was amazing. Mm-hmm. Because
this is that leap and bound again.
yeah, because
somehow.
I know
like somehow they managed to make that kind of a leap again on the same generation.
which is usually unheard of. But I have to give my decision to The Last of Us because I played it, but I do having as much in common with you guys as I do with taste in gaming and things like that. But I'm pretty sure GTA 5 would be my vote if I had played it.
Yeah.
I really strongly, have to base it on stuff that I've already experienced.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say we should give it to GTA 5 because 2 out of the 3 of us that are still here.
Marquise died.
Not really.
Not really. No, he's just asleep.
Yeah.
That's what my mom said about my hamster.
Oh God, no!
I'm just joking.
That's
Just
terrible.
joking.
Wow. I got really.
I never had a hamster.
That's
tragic.
awful.
Jeez. I actually did see my. Never mind.
Anyway,
my hamsters did die.
I do feel Last of Us though number 2
Oh, definitely.
As
because it wasn't until I played Grand Theft Auto 5 Last of Us.
It was a
gonna be
shoe-in. Yeah.
Last of Us was the swan song of the PlayStation 3. It
really was.
I mean, as an exclusive, it is one of the best exclusives for any system that I've ever played.
Yeah.
Where they took there were some funny moments. There's a lot of gut wrenching tension. You're just like, this is
you felt connected to those characters.
Yeah, you felt for those characters. This
about
is
everyone.
This is what I wanted out of this. Is when you play that game, you're like, this is what I want from my survival horror games.
Yep.
All right, so then that just leaves bronze. All right, the choices are.
It's got to either be
Pokemon,
BioShock Infinite, or Saints Row 4. I think.
Actually, it's hold on. Saints Row 4, Injustice, or BioShock. Technically, it's Injustice.
I'd say I want to give it to Injustice. It is that game came way out of left field. I mean, I've played a lot of shooters.
I'm fine with that.
All right,
Injustice.
We all did like it a lot.
We all loved it a lot. Injustice is it's a fighting game that surprised the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Saints Row 4 is really good.
Yes.
You played the crap out of Injustice, though, and you still haven't beat Saints Row 4.
Yeah, I played way more Injustice than I played of BioShock or Saints Row 4. So that's why.
All right, guys, that's it. Bam! We've done it!
Congratulations, GTA 5. Congratulations, Last of Us.
And congratulations, Injustice, Gods Among
If there could be a tie, they would be tied for first place.
No, I think Injustice would still be behind.
Yeah.
Well, Last of Us, though.
But if there could be a tie for first place, it would be
for a game that made me feel
Yeah.
awful when I played it.
Yeah.
I played The Last of Us, and you're like, oh,
It was gut wrenching.
as a tutorial. That was the most gut wrenching tutorial I've ever played through because you were like, what just happened?
You're like, oh god,
I can't believe they just did that. And then it just goes,
for the rest of the game. Yes, it is.
Yes.
and it just goes, boom, The Last of Us, and I was like,
That's it.
so good.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the award show. That was, once again, Grand Theft Auto 5 is Rustee, winner, Game of the Year!
And everyone else is just Rustworthy.
Yeah.
Hey, Last of Us, definitely a game worth playing, so is Injustice. If you don't have them, and you have a PS3, you should own all 3 of those games.
Also, if you have a PS4 or an Xbox One, you can get Injustice Ultimate Edition for those. So
good.
Wait, they're making Injustice Ultimate Edition?
It's already
It's
out.
already out for computer and systems.
For
It's
everything.
got all the DLC on it.
Yeah,
I might be buying that.
you might.
Because I did not buy it for the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So they made a prettier, higher resolution version.
Not
I don't think so.
necessarily.
Well, it's prettier.
It's just got all the DLC.
It just
on
has all the DLC. I'm pretty sure it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It might run a little bit crisper.
Ooh, higher frame rate.
Maybe.
Ooh.
That way you can see Batman run people over the Batmobile at, higher.
Well, I'm going to be run down to the game store and pick
it up?
Actually, I'm not because I
Amazon.
don't.
Because
I'm
Christmas
going to
is
Amazon
coming.
it. So,
Because
all right.
Amazon exists.
Because Amazon
Thanks for-
doesn't have to go nowhere.
Thanks for joining us, folks. This is it for 2013. Thanks for listening. And
Happy New Year!
We'll talk to you next year.
until then,
Play more games.
Do stuff.
Buy more comics.
check us out at TimeRust.com.
We out, beep boops.